I shouldn't be doing anything, but
All right, we are getting started. What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. We are joined by the team over at WP Reset. WP Reset is a WordPress plugin that collectively installs themes and plugins, resets defaults, and creates snapshots to restore your website. It is available right now on AppSumo, starting at just $49. Before we dive into that today, I want to tell you just 3 quick things. The first is we would love to hear a little bit about your business and your use case over in the chat room. And if you have any questions about the tool, you can leave those questions in the Q&A box down below the webinar, or down below the video rather, and we will circle back to those at the end of the walkthrough. And then the third thing I want to tell you is that there will be a replay of this available, so if you need to step out, that is a-okay. So yeah, tell us about your use case in the chat room. Tell us any questions that you have in the Q&A box, and there will be a replay of this. All right, let's dive in. We are joined by Gordon. He is the man who does it all and the founder. Thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you for having me, Lindsay, and thank you for that great introduction. My name is Gordon. I'm part of the WP Reset team that's part of Web Factory. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope this little video, this little webinar will be interesting for you, that you're gonna see something new. I'll do my best not to be boring, and I'll do my best not to embarrass myself with showing something that doesn't work. Okay, so let's kick this off. Am I sharing my screen or not? Give me just a sec.
I will tell you as soon as you are. Oh, that's my dog. Hi, honey. It's okay.
Okay, share screen. Excellent. So here we go. So WP Reset. Before we go into what is it, I want to address a few whys, whens, whos, and whats. Basically, I'm lazy. I don't want to click 25 times if I can click once. And I know everybody's like that. And I know my team doesn't like to click 50 times if they can click once and basically do something in 5 seconds instead of doing it in 5 minutes. So as we were developing plugins and themes and websites for years and years, we saw that there are some repeating tasks that we are losing a lot of time on. So we made a few internal tools for installing multiple plugins, for resetting sites, and for cleaning things up on a site. So as years went by, those tools grew, and basically 2 or 2.5 years ago, we made those tools public on the WP repository under the name of WP Reset. Now, a bit of luck, a bit of money, a bit of time, and 2 years later, we now have over 200,000 users of the free version. We were working on the pro version for more than a year. It was a lot of work, but in January this year, we managed to push it out, and now we are on AppSumo, and we hope to reach a lot more users. And basically, we want to save you time and money, and we want you to click once instead of 100 times. Again, a bit of an unorthodox approach. What WP Reset isn't. Is it a backup plugin? No, it is not a backup plugin. There are a lot of great backup solutions out there. We are not one of them. We do have and we do share similarities with backup plugins. I'll get into that later, but we are not a backup plugin per se. Is then WP Reset a migration tool? No, it is not a migration tool. Can you use it as a migration tool? A little bit, but basically no. It's not meant to be used as a migration tool. So now your question is, what is WP Reset? Well, can you tell me in one sentence? In one sentence, it's something that you can't believe you didn't have until you have it. And I hope I'll be able to prove that premise to you in the next few minutes when I show you what you can actually do with WP Reset. Okay, so let's show you how to save some time and money. Switching over, let me see, where am I? Okay, so this is an awesome client site. It's just your regular WP site, nothing overly special going on with it. It's actually just a default installation with a kitty on it. And they have a few plugins and everything's, hunky-dory. They do not have WP Reset. So what happens? Let's say that something very, very, very bad happens. Somebody, accidentally or not, logs into FTP and just deletes, I don't know, let's say we delete 25 files. Again, maybe it's accidental, maybe it's not, we don't know. Now, to make things worse, I'm gonna add one bad file. Let's say bad file.php. Let's say that it's full of malware, and I'm gonna save it. Okay, to add insult to injury, we go to the database. Let's say, where is our database? Okay. And we find our users. Okay. And we delete that user. So what we have at this stage, if I reload our kitty, is not a good situation. The site is down. Client is freaking out and they are calling you. Say the site is down. Okay, so you have a look and it's basically the white screen of death. You're trying to reload. You're going into the admin. Nothing is working. So what your next step would be is to go into the database, go into the FTP, try and see what's going on. Ask the client if they have a backup. Obviously, they don't have a backup. Nobody does. But you have WP Reset. So what do? You open the WP Reset dashboard, you go to the emergency recovery script, and you download that script onto your desktop. I'm also gonna be lazy and copy paste the username, the URL and the password immediately. And I'm gonna go use the same FTP I used to destroy the site to upload the emergency recovery script. Okay, so now that we have that script up, I can open it. Give me just a sec. Okay, and I need to enter the password, obviously. And okay, it's already done its thing. And if we browse down, we immediately see that we have core files missing. So something's not good. And I browse down and then I see I have two files that are unknown to the system in my core files. It's the bad file and it's the PHP error log. Okay, so the error log is not that bad, but this file is. So I delete the bad file and I'm hoping that that will fix things. I reload. No, that did not fix things. Okay, so next step, reinstall all core files. We wait a few seconds until the script does its thing. Core file is reinstalled. And would you look at that? Things are back to normal. So the client gave us the password and I hit login, but it's not working. Why? Because we deleted the entry in the database with my username, but we don't know what happened. We try again, unknown username, we can't log in. Okay, not a problem. Why is it not a problem? Because if you scroll down to administrator account, I can easily create a new admin account for me. Let's say test at webfactoryltd.com, and I say create new admin account. User test with password test created. Let's try and log in. And we are back in business. So to sum it up, we did not have WP Reset installed on the site, but we still managed to utilize it because we uploaded the emergency recovery script. We managed to get all our core files in order. We managed to delete malware or bad files or unknown files, call them whatever you want. And we were able to create a new user account. Let me show you that in the database. So here we go, new user account. And we managed to do all of this without touching any code. Everything was done from the emergency recovery script. Okay, so now the site is working. And let's say that you want to get WP Reset installed. So what do? You open your dashboard. You download the plugin on your desktop, standard stuff. And we go to admin, add new, upload plugin, choose file, desktop, WP Reset, install now. We wait a few seconds. This is all standard stuff. I know you're all familiar with it. And come on, come on, come on. Okay, activate plugin. Now, this is the part with the pro plugins when you need to add your license key. And I know you hate this. I hate it too. I mean, who can remember 78 license keys? You're copy pasting in Notepad. You're always forgetting those things. So there's a better way to do it. And I'm going to show you how. So again, I'll open the WP Reset dashboard and open my licenses. And I'm going to create a new license. I'm not going to use a license key. There's not going to be anything to copy paste. I'm going to create a domain license type, and I'll enter the domain for our site. And let's say the license is good forever, and we're going to add the white label feature and the WP Reset Cloud feature. And I'm also going to link one of my collections to this license, which I previously made. Create and activate license. Okay, and I go back. And I'm not going to enter a license key. I'm just going to say keyless activation. Okay, bam. 1 second later, WP Reset is installed and activated. No key needed. And it says we have it for life and what features we have. Excellent, right? Okay, so now that we have everything up and running, the first thing I would do is I would create a snapshot. Now, it's gonna be first snapshot. So what will this do? It will not be a backup, like I said, because WP Reset is not a backup plugin. It's gonna be a snapshot that contains all of the data that's in your database, all of the database tables. So we will be able to go back into the time and restore to that point, something like a Windows restore point. So once we do any changes on the site, which we are going to do, we will be able to go back in time, switch to that version with just a few clicks. Okay, so we do create snapshot and we wait just a little bit until it goes through all of our tables and it is done. Now, this snapshot is saved locally, but let's say that you don't have enough disk space. You can go to settings, enable any one of our cloud services. We prefer to use our cloud service, WP Reset, okay? And now if I go to snapshots, I can easily offload that snapshot to the WP Reset Cloud. Takes a second, verifies, refreshes, it's up. And if you go to your dashboard, to snapshots, you can see your first snapshot here, and you can see that it was created a few seconds ago. So now it's in a safe place. You know where it is. Let's go back to the site. Let's do something else, collections. Now, as I already mentioned, nobody likes to click 100 times if you can click once. And each time you create a new site, you need to install and add all of your favorite plugins. Some are free, some are pro, some have license keys, some don't have license keys. For 10 plugins, it can easily take you 15 minutes to do all of that. And it's just tedious, stupid work. Why would you do it if you can do it with one click? How do you do it with one click? With WP Reset Snapshots. Collections, sorry. So I have my collection here, my best plugins. It has 2 plugins. Let's add some more. So it's a plugin. It comes from the WP repo, and let's say one of our plugins, OtterBox. Okay, we can add some note. We add new item. So now we have 3 plugins that are from the WP repo org. But of course, you have pro plugins, zip files for them, and you have license keys. Not a problem. Add a new plugin, this time from a zip file. We choose that plugin from the desktop, and we get ourselves a key. Give me just a sec to find that key. Okay, license key. This is a pro plugin. And we say add new item. It's now uploading that zip file to the cloud. It's going to save the key, the zip file, everything in the collection. So now we have a collection with 4 plugins, one of which is pro, and we have the license key for it. Let's say we want to install those 4 plugins. We'll just click install and activate collection. It takes barely a few seconds per plugin. As you can see, this is in real time, and it does everything for me. I'm hands-free. I'm not touching anything. Okay, still waiting. It's doing its thing. I can be twiddling my thumbs. Now we are at the pro plugin. Okay, it's going to activate it, and it's going to put in the license key. Success. Excellent. Now if I go, okay, it's refreshing. We already have new plugins, which we can see. We're going to skip this. Okay, and we have another plugin, so dismiss this. If I go to plugins, we now have all of these plugins installed. We did that with one click, and that's it. There are no limits on the amount of plugins or themes you can put in a collection, and there is no limit to the amount of collections you can have. Also, in the dashboard, you can see all of your collections. My best plugins, I have 4 plugins, I don't have any themes, and this collection is available on 2 licenses, meaning that when you create a new license, keyless or not, for your new clients, for their new sites, you can then easily just link that collection to that license, install all of the plugins, and when you're done, you just unlink the collection and the client never sees anything. They don't see the list, they don't see the license keys, they don't know anything. Everything is yours, everything is secured. Let's get back to the site. We created a snapshot when we installed WP Reset. It is our first snapshot. Now, let's say we make some changes to the site. Okay. We already made some changes because we installed all of those plugins, but let's make some more. Okay. And I click save, and let's say we go to posts and rename it to Hello Kitty 123. Okay, and if I open the site, you see that it's Hello Kitty 123, and here is your change. So the question is, how long will it take us to go back in time to that version of the site we had the moment when we rescued it? It's going to take about a second or 2. Tools, WP Reset, Snapshots. find the snapshot that you need. It's our first snapshot. Actions, restore snapshot, confirm it, restore. I don't know if that took even a second. It reloads, and we are back to the version we had before. And if we go to plugins, they are not active. They are here because snapshots don't touch any files, but they are here. Okay, those were your user manual snapshots, but there's more. There's plenty more, but there's more that you will be thrilled with. One of the main issues with WordPress is constant and continuous updates that come out for mostly plugins, but also for the core. So every time you click update plugin, you're basically praying that nothing goes wrong. You're praying that clicking that update button will not mess up your site. Because if it does mess up your site, files could be changed, data could be changed, the database could be changed. You basically don't have a clue what happened when you clicked install. Okay, let me show you how to take care of that. Again, tools, WP reset, and we enable auto snapshots. Okay, save. So now each time I activate, deactivate, delete, or update a plugin, an auto snapshot will be created, enabling me, in case of emergency, to go back in time before that plugin was updated. Okay, so auto snapshots are enabled. We go to plugins. Now, I don't have any plugins to update. Not a problem. It's the same thing when you activate them or deactivate. Let's say we want to activate 301 redirects. Click activate. We wait a bit. Now, snapshot is being created in the background. I didn't click anything. It's all in the background. No extra work for me. I go to Tools, WP Reset Pro, Snapshots, and we have a new snapshot. It's a snapshot before 301 redirects version 2.45 was activated. It contains 12 core and 1 custom table, totaling blah, 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 size 2.3 megabytes. Now, in case that something happened, or in case that I don't like this plugin, and I'm not sure if it cleaned everything up after itself when you remove it, what I can do is go back in time with restore snapshot. Again, let me prove that something will actually happen. Again, let's go to settings, and we're gonna add some access here. And again, let me show you in plugins. We have that plugin active, but if I go to the, you can always access WP Reset from this admin menu, snapshots, and we want to go back in time before this plugin was activated, or it would be the same as in go back in time before this plugin was updated. Restore snapshot. Restore snapshot. We're done. It's reloading. The XXX is gone from the site title, and if we go to plugins, it's deactivated. Okay. So basically, those are your collections and snapshots and the emergency recovery system. Script, I'm sorry. Now, you have to be asking yourself why is the thing named WP Reset? We didn't reset anything. I know. Let's have a look at how to destroy things. Now, I have 3 reset tools, varying in the degree of how much they're going to reset. The options reset, the site reset, and the nuclear reset. I'm not going to read you through all of these things because that would be boring. We have this handy dandy little table, and basically it, tells you what's going to happen. I'll just warn you, please, please, please read the table before you hit reset. Now, can you accidentally hit reset? Well, no, you can't, because you need to confirm, or in this case, you need to double confirm. Now, let's say, what reset should we do? Let's do a nuclear reset. Let's just nuke the whole thing. When you use the nuclear reset tool, everything is gone. So everything gets reset to the default settings. The only thing we restore is the current user that you're using at this moment in WordPress, because obviously there wouldn't be a way for you to create a new user after nuking it. If you're now asking yourself, well, okay, does it delete this and this and this? Yes. Does it delete this and this and this? Yes. It's nuclear. So I'm going to click reactivate WP reset plugin after the nuclear thing is done, because I want it to do that. And it's going to automatically recreate my test account. So let's say I make a mistake. It's not going to work. Again, you can't accidentally click anything. Reset, double confirm. Okay. It's creating an automatic snapshot because we told it to do so. Sort of a safety measure, but again, not a backup. If you need a backup, you need to use another plugin. It's doing its thing. We're done. So I'm back. My user is back. If I go to plugins, I only have WP reset because everything is gone. If I open the site, nothing's here. Why? Because there's no theme. If I open posts, there's the default hello world. If I go to media, there's nothing there because everything was reset. So for those asking, well, why the hell would I nuke my site? If you're developing something, if you're testing something, it's perfect. If you just installed, I don't know, 10 themes and imported demo data, you know your site is bloated. You can nuke it. Obviously, that is not ideal in most circumstances because you don't want to nuke everything. That's why we have the options reset and the site reset. And we have a whole other tab with over 20 something tools to reset just certain parts of the site. You can reset theme options or delete transients or purge cache from WordPress and all of the cache plugins. You can delete any part of content, let's say comments, users, certain post types, widgets, all of your themes, all of your plugins. You can even delete must-use plugins and drop-ins, which you can't do from the plugins menu, which you should do via FTP. What else? You can switch WP versions. So if you want to go back in time or forward in time, basically with a beta, you can do that. You can delete the htaccess file. So any kind of cleanup you need to do when you're developing new sites, you can do it with this. I'm going to just one more time show you in the dashboard that you have complete control over all of your client sites. This is my awesome client site, okay, that we were using just now. If there's a problem with the site or the client, you can obviously block that license or you can delete it. And once you create a license, you can also edit it. I mostly use it to remove a linked collection. So let's say deselect all, I go to update license. If I now go back to the site, collections, and I reload from the cloud, that collection is gone. Okay. Last thing, again, for those who run agencies and create websites for others, we have the white label mode. I enable it and there's no longer any license tab. The WP reset /web factory support widget is gone. There's nothing in the footer. If you go to plugins, we even removed the mention of Web Factory here. So white label solution, there's no mention of Web Factory. You can use it for your clients and obviously charge them for it. So I've been babbling on for almost 30 minutes, which means that it is now time for questions and answers. My team is ready and should be copy-pasting me your questions. Okay, I got them. Let's go through this. Integrations, ICE Drive integration. We will do it as soon as they have an API. I'm really sorry to say at the moment they do not have an API, so we cannot integrate them. However, we are in contact with them. They are working on it. No ETA at the moment. As soon as they have an API, we will integrate. At the moment, you have Dropbox, Google Drive, pCloud, obviously our WP Reset Cloud. We are working on OneDrive or OneCloud from Microsoft, OneCloud, OneDrive, I don't know what it's called, the Microsoft thing, the thing that you have in Windows. We're working on that. Since I have my screen open, have a look at our Trello board. This is our roadmap. We prioritize development based on your votes. So you can add your idea. I'm gonna add it to ideas here. If people vote for it, perfect, we're gonna do it, not a problem. So at the moment, most votes are for main WP add-on, site-to-site snapshots migration, always hide license key. There's a lot of stuff here. We're gonna leave a link somewhere. Go there, cast your vote. Okay, let's say next question. Okay, backup. Again, we are on the backup thing. The difference between WP Reset and a full backup, and why not a backup? What's a difference? Okay, so backup has to contain everything, your files, your database. On an average site, that can easily be a few hundred megabytes. And to move a few hundred megabytes, it's not gonna be half a second. It's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some space. So it's not gonna be fast, it's not gonna be agile. That's why we do snapshots. Snapshots only contain your database, or they contain one or two plugins which you just updated, deleted, removed, deactivated. So they're tiny basically. An average snapshot takes maybe 2 or 3 megabytes on larger sites, maybe 100. That's why we were able to restore a snapshot in, well, you saw how much it took, 1 second, 2 seconds, something like that. So it is fast. And another reason why WP Reset is not a backup plugin, because we feel there are a lot of backup plugins out there doing a great job, and we couldn't improve that much, but we saw an opening in the space. Nobody did snapshots, so we did them. Again, use WP Reset with a backup plugin. Do a daily full plugin and do automatic snapshots for your plugin updates. That way, if there's a bad update, you can simply restore a snapshot and you're basically not losing much. Because if you would restore a snapshot from, I don't know, a day or two ago, it would basically go back to that time and you would lose all of the updates you did afterwards. Emergency restore script questions. How safe is the recovery file? Is it possible to restore a site even if the plugin is not installed? Okay, the second question first. Yes, it is absolutely possible to restore a site if the plugin is not installed. In fact, if you have a look at this video on replay, you will see that I did not have WP Reset installed at the time when the site went down. I only added the emergency recovery script to get the site back up, and I then installed WP Reset. So no, you do not have to have WP Reset installed in order to use the emergency recovery script. How safe is the recovery file? Let me see if I still have it here. Give me just a second. So each recovery file is protected with two things. First, its name is always unique, only to you. Nobody knows it. We're not saving that. And it is 40 characters long. So if you have a look at this, this is a random string, okay? You know, you can't remember that. So that's your first line of protection. The second line of protection is the password. And if I open an incognito mode, it's asking me for the password. So I need to have the password in order to use the emergency recovery script. And again, when you generate, where am I with the dashboard? Give me just a sec. When you generate a new instance of the emergency recovery script in our dashboard, it always creates a new unique instance for you with a unique password and a unique name. So chances of somebody misusing that are really, really slim. To touch upon that question a little bit more, can you install the emergency recovery script from the plugin? Yes, you can. It's one click, enable, it's done. Again, you get your unique URL and you get your unique password, which you should save. With the same ease, I can remove it. So 100% secure. Okay, snapshots. How many snapshots can you store? What is the storage limit? If you are storing snapshots in our WP Reset Cloud, then the limit is 2 GB per site, or 3 GB if you stack 7 codes. If you're using a third-party cloud, Dropbox, Google Drive, then basically the limit is wherever the limit is on your account. It probably is terabytes. And if you're storing snapshots locally in your database, then the limit is whatever you paid your hosting company, you know, a few gigabytes perhaps. Can you choose where snapshots are stored? By default, they first go into your database. Afterwards, okay, let's see, settings. Afterwards, they go wherever you choose, to whichever cloud service you choose. And before you ask, yes, we will have auto uploads very soon. So immediately after a snapshot is created, it's going to be auto uploaded to the cloud, so you don't have to touch anything. Let's say I take a snapshot of my site and I erase it and put new text, delete pages. Then I want to go back to the original. Will the snapshot restore back your original website? Okay, so whenever you restore a snapshot, you are 100% going back and will be restoring the site as it was in terms of the data and in terms of the database. If you deleted some files in the meantime, then unfortunately, snapshots will not be able to help you. However, if you just deleted some plugins and themes, I'm sure that you can download them from somewhere and get them back. So your database would still be safe. You upload those plugins, you're good to go. Collections. Can I have multiple collections? You can have as many collections as you please, no limits whatsoever. Can I duplicate a collection to create a different... Okay, duplicating collections and managing collections in the dashboard. At the moment, the only thing you can do with collections, as you can see on my screen, in the dashboard is to list them. However, we are working on new functionality that will allow you to clone collections in the dashboard, and at some point, perhaps even edit collections in the dashboard. However, for the time being, you have to edit collections in the WP Reset plugin. Do you get a message if a plugin wasn't installed from a collection? Does it install other plugins in case of fails? Can you? Okay, if anything goes wrong at any point with WP Reset, either with collections or snapshots or anything, you get a nice error message. It's not gonna white screen on you. So if it's trying to install a plugin from a collection and it just doesn't work out for any reason whatsoever, it's gonna save that error, move on to the next plugin, and when the thing is done, you're gonna see 6 plugins installed successfully, and this one didn't install, or it didn't activate, or the license didn't activate. So you're gonna see a normal error message. Can you use collections off site? I'm not sure I followed this. Can you use collections off site? You need WP Reset on the site that you are using in order to install that collection. Maybe the question is, can you use it offline? I don't know. But basically, you need WP Reset on that site where you want to install that collection. That's it. Okay. Can we activate or deactivate Pro plugin license for all plugins in client site? Or do we have to manually go into their site? Okay, good question. And it's a much larger one. Due to security, you cannot push anything from the dashboard onto any site. There's no button in the dashboard that says do something to this site. There is no button that says install these plugins on this site and that you do it from the dashboard. So the dashboards our dashboard does not have control over site. The communication does not go into that direction. It is for security. Everything that's done has to be initiated from the site. So if the site wants to grab the latest version of the collections, you click reload collections from the cloud. If the site wants to grab the latest snapshots, you say, grab the latest snapshots from the cloud. So no, you can't activate or deactivate anything from the dashboard on any site. You can kill the license, and obviously then the license is dead and you can't use it on any other site or any site, but you can't push anything from the dashboard to the plugin. Will this be a complete white label, including the WP Health? We have a separate video. We're gonna leave a link somewhere explaining what our white label is and isn't. Now, as I have already shown, where's my tab? So at the moment, white labeling is enabled and there's no support tab or licensing tab. If I disable white label, I get back my license tab and I get back my support widget from WP Web Factory /WP Reset. At the moment, you can't change the logo. You can't add anything to the plugin in terms of white labeling. However, if again, you go to Trello Board, there is a expand white label functionality, which currently has 13 votes. If we do it, once we do it, you will get 2 options. The first option will be that in the dashboard, you will be able to enter some text about your service. My awesome WP maintenance, we are from New York, here's our logo, here's our URL, our contacts. You enter that text here, and then in the plugin, we would have, under the support tab, you would get a new card where you would be able to show that text, images, whatever to your clients, and in essence, rebranding WP Reset to a certain degree. Again, if you need this feature, if you need any other feature, if something is missing, go to Trello, leave an idea and vote for whatever you need. Can WP Reset help me if I forgot my login URL? I'm gonna have to go with a no on that one, but you can, well, actually it's not a no, it's yes/no. If you have a custom login URL, that means that you have a plugin that's modifying the default login URL. So what you can do, you can install the emergency recovery script. You scroll down to the plugins section. Okay, let me activate one plugin. Plugins, add new, let's do classic editor and activate. And now when I go to the emergency recovery script, here's the classic editor. So let's assume that this is the plugin that's modifying your login URL. You click deactivate plugin and your login URL would go back to the default version and you would be able to log in. So WP Reset cannot tell you what the login URL is, but it can help you get it back to the default version. Can I use it to roll back a WP update? Yes, you can. If you have, if you made an manual snapshot or you have auto snapshots enabled, you will be able to go back in time before you did a core update. However, that will not roll back your core files. If you want to roll back your core files as well, then you need to use our change WP version tool. So you would go here, you would pick the version you want to go back to replace core files, and then you would restore the snapshot you have, and basically that would undo a core update. Can you show how many documentation is included in the plugin? Well, I don't know, 100 articles, 150. So let's say you want to use the switch WP version tool. You don't know what it does. You just click this and it automatically finds that document in our documentation and you can now read all about it. But let's see if we have an exact count of how many articles we have. Okay, I don't have an exact count, but it should be about 100. Everything's covered and we are continuously adding new stuff. From the first example where site was basically hacked, can you also detect and fix bad code added to existing core files? So your core files should never be modified either by you or any third parties. We always compare your core files with the secure version, the main version, the master version on WP.org. And if we see that anything's changed, even one letter, that means that that's no longer a core file, it's now a modified core file. So we will revert it to its original state. Now, was that core file modified with just one dot? Did you add a comment, or was it actually hacked and something bad happened to it? We do not know. We don't ask those questions. We just ask, is it in a state that it should be, the original state? If so, good. If not, then we restore it from the master copy on WP.org. Can I manage client's website from the dashboard and my other premium plugin updates or their keys via WP Reset? Okay, so WP Reset is not main WP, it's not manage WP, it's not one of those plugins which is basically one dashboard to rule them all, to control all of your sites. That's not it. we only control WP Reset related things from our dashboard. So no, you can't manage your clients' websites from our dashboard, and no, you can't update anything on your site or client site from our dashboard. At some point, you may be able to control and edit collections, but again, that's just collections. It's not, you won't be able to mess with other sites from the dashboard. Does the snapshot feature offer anything more than is available with a staging plugin? Again, there is a lot of overlap between a staging plugin and a snapshot, but they're definitely not the same thing. It's difficult for me to be more specific because there are multiple staging plugins available and they do various things. What I definitely can say is that a snapshot will not allow you to create a clone of your website. It's not going to create a staging environment. In fact, I would recommend to use a plugin to create a staging environment or do it via cPanel, and then install WP Reset on that staging environment to help you develop. So if you make a mistake, you can go back with a snapshot in 2 seconds. You don't have to recreate the whole staging site. Okay, a bit more. If client removes WP Reset, does it also remove the license from all premium plugins you have installed, or do they remain active? Absolutely, they remain active. You just use WP Reset to install them via collections. After that, you know, every man for himself, every plugin for themselves. So yeah, you can definitely uninstall WP Reset and all other plugins will remain intact. May I know the reason to delete htaccess file? Well, you just messed something up. You added some things to the htaccess file that shouldn't be there and you want to reset it to default, so you delete it. That's all. And a security question. If you have strict security, normally you do not allow to write any files or folders inside core. Only plugins, themes, and uploads folder are open. Okay, so this is basically a question, will WP Reset work on my site, or will WP Reset be able to modify my files on my site? The answer to that is, if WordPress works normally and if WordPress can modify files, then WP Reset will be able to modify them as well. If WordPress can't, if WordPress is not able to modify your files, then WP Reset won't be able to modify them as well. And I do agree that you should have privileges set on files so that you know, core can't be touched. But then again, I know a lot of people that don't have it set up that way, so you know, they would still need the emergency recovery script to fix any core issues. Let's see, we are getting a few more questions in. Do we have a list of compatible or incompatible hosting companies? I'm not going to name any names. We should have a list soon in our documentation, but the main thing is that if you have a managed hosting package where the hosting company is supposed to be taking care of your updates, then they most likely won't like WP Reset because they feel that they need to be in control of everything, and that's fine. But on an average shared hosting, WP Reset works just fine, and we don't have any blacklist of hosting companies. And okay, last question. What prevents a hacker from hacking into WP Reset and creating an admin account? Well, what's stopping a hacker from hacking into WordPress and creating an account? So as I've already shown, your emergency recovery script is protected with a huge file name, which is completely random, and it can't be brute forced because it has 40 characters. It would take a really long time. And B, it is protected with a password. So it carries the same level of protection as any other thing you have with a username and password. So if I'm asked, it's as secure as anything else. It's as secure as WordPress itself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We are done. So 55 minutes. Yeah, okay. I didn't embarrass myself, hopefully. And yeah, take it from here, please, Lindsay. And thank you, everybody, for listening to me. And if you have any questions, obviously, our support is standing by pretty much 24/7. Ask away.
Thank you so much for getting through all of those questions. You are awesome. And thank you, Sumolings, for being in today. If you have not already, you can go to appsumo.com/WP-reset to redeem your codes. Once you started, go ahead and leave us some comments. Let us know how it's working for you. If you have any more questions, of course, you can leave those on the deal page. The deal starting at just $49, and you can stack codes for more sites. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, Gordon, for being here. Thank you, Ivan and Andrea, for getting those questions to them. Everybody have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.